Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome back to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney here. I have the honor of having one of the best looking men I've ever seen in my entire life and future bodybuilder of the United States of America, Norman Kinsey. What's going on, my brother?
Mr. Austin Linney, you're too kind, man. You're too kind. I appreciate that, bro. Just crushing it, man. Spreading that positive vibe, just like you, bro. Doing what we can to give back.
Exactly you are. And you know, we might call you the most interesting man in real estate, but you do a lot of different things. You know, I like to let my guests kind of tell their story where they want to start, and I'll let you go from there.
Love it, man. I love it. Yeah, I think for me, I'm on the different end of the spectrum with that being said, because I'm on the spectrum with supporting, right? Like I'm supporting these real estate professionals so they can have more success with, hey, where do you want to go? What's the direction of your business look like? You know, do you know your ideal client? Do you know your area that you serve? Do you know how you're going to reach that individual? And how do you look online? Do you look polished? Do you look sexy? Do you look like someone would want to work with? Or is it fragmented all over the place? So started Liftoff Agent, and that is just transpired to 5,000 agents I've met so far. And from those 5,000 agents, I've supported about maybe half, 2,500. One thing or another, from developing a brand or developing social, developing a website, to getting more structured with a comprehensive marketing solution with our 3 programs. And now we're pushing almost 120 agents on a monthly basis. So it's just super grateful. I'm in 10 states. Team's international. We have 8 full-time people, and this year has been great. We're up by like 25%, even with everything going on, and it's just been blessings all around. So, you know, don't let being diagnosed with a learning disability, tubes in your ears, and people saying you're not going to be able to do shit in your life hold you back and not let you be able to actually conquer your dreams.
Okay, see, now you just gave the part that I really want to talk about. Screw you, agents. But listen, we're gonna unpack all this, because I coach a lot of agents, and I'm in the space, and I interviewed an amazing agent yesterday, and it was you know, it's a very interesting topic but first I want to talk about who is Norman Kinsey when he got started. Like, I know who you are now, but y'all made a big move. Y'all moved from California to Arizona. You know, there's a lot of things that have happened. Like, you know, what did you do before this?
Yeah, no, definitely. So for me, I started off, I guess I'll go and start off with like, man, I did everything. I worked at retail locations like a Costco. I worked at a Monument Car Parts. I've worked at an apartment complex. I was an allotted tenant at multiple different brokerages. And then I was going to school to be an ASE certified mechanic. My dad was a mechanic. My uncle used to race cars. I built a 1972 Chevelle Malibu in high school with my father out of Pittsburgh, California. And then from there, I found out really quick that I didn't want to do that for a career, working on cars and doing that type of thing, because I love that personally. So I wanted to keep that personal. And then I got into, in 2009, I got into wanting to start my own company, and I went to Arizona, where I live now. And this story will come back full circle. Buddy of mine was basically moving back here. His family were well off. They actually rented one of their houses in Scottsdale to Britney Spears. True story. And so basically when I ended up moving out here, his friends were in commercial real estate, talking about real estate, and they're paying their friends to do chores, dog walking, errands, dry cleaning pickup. Went back to California and said, dude, personal assistance, what can I do with that? So I started Personal Assistance Incorporated in 2009, got basically incorporated 2011, and was helping individuals in college do chores, do errands. I was doing everything from scrubbing toilets to selling things online to figure out what the heck I was going to do with my life. And then from there, I started to then think about, hey, there has to be another way. There has to be an online solution, or a way to be able to work from home, or a way to be able to have less overhead, because you have so many things that possibly can happen when someone's watching someone's kids or driving someone's kids, and the legal side is just, it's too much. I didn't want to take on that burden. So I met a mentor that took a company called Digital Insights public in 96. He cashed out for $4 million. He was my mentor for 2 years, talking about my approach, my delivery, PowerPoint presentation, helping me really understand this whole real estate support segment that I started dipping my toe into, because I called 350 agents to craft up the solution that I have here today. And it basically evolved. It started from me just seeing opportunity with Facebook. And I was like, dude, a friend of mine had 5,000 friends. I'm like, how the heck do you have 5,000 friends on Facebook? And then I was like, there has to be something here. And then I called 350 agents, finding out what they're going, doing chores, doing dog walking. I got people calling in sick. I'm going to houses personally on my hands and knees, scrubbing toilets, because I had that much passion. And I knew that, no matter what, I was going to make it and do something for myself, my family, my loved ones, people that support me. And yeah, so I basically just kept moving forward, and I got out of the personal assistance. Then I started with basically it was support RE for support real estate. That evolved into now Liftoff Agent. And that's where basically we started to then figure out like what's going on in this real estate space. Average age in real estate agents, 57, average buyers, 34, 90% of the transaction volume is done by the top 10% of real estate professionals. Not to mention a lot of these 57-year-olds are asking their kids, or they're asking their kids of kids how to do social, what they need to do. So it kind of just organically like fell into my lap. They're like, hey, we want to be different. We want tool sets from broker to broker. We want to be able to have support as a top producer would have, that's doing 65, 70 transactions a year, so we can get to that level. And that's where Liftoff Agent came in. And the name like eventually was just like a no-brainer. We're lifting them off. And so I met Dan Gandy, who was also on your show. And on Instagram, he slid into my DMs. Took about 9 months, and then we came up with a plan for him to work with us 3 years now later. And then just over that time frame, I met my partner on Craigslist, and he was a great guy. He's the yin and yang. I'm the front end. He's the back end. He does the development. I do the front end. I do the sales. Dan then comes on. There's 3 of us. We have that core. And then we just kept on expanding from there to get to that 5,000 agents and almost 120 agents supported on a monthly basis now.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she runs a Facebook group of 15,000 multifamily landlord ladies.
Wow.
And she basically, during the pandemic, said, I can't be the only landlord that has questions. What if there's a women's group? And she just started it, and then it blew up to 15,000 people in like 6 months. And we were talking about a topic that's very important. I think sometimes in life, we search for answers in our own head instead of asking the answers from others. And so what she means by that is, by you talking to 350 agents, they gave you the answer to your company. We make it very complicated. They said, no, this is what we want. Go do that. And so it's an interesting when you have that much of a space, instead of trying to figure it all out yourself, go to 10 people. What is your biggest problem? And then create a business around said problem, correct?
Amen. Amen. People make it way too complicated. I have one of my guys who's we just hired. He's a developer guy. He's like, dude, he's like, same thing. Real estate versus tech podcast we have. It's on the screen behind me. It's like, he's like, dude, he's like, you didn't have a fancy mic. You didn't have nothing fancy. You literally just use Zoom and just look for it. I'm like, yeah, why not? Went to Zoom. Zoom records it. You save the audio. You save the video. I put it on YouTube. Don't have a budget to put the audio out there to save all that money on the audio side. And now we're at like, I don't know, like almost 300 subs and probably almost 300 hours of watch time. And our biggest played video has almost 400 views, and we're just a little over a year in and 60 guests out of nowhere. And now I spent $250 on this amazing mic because, we got to that point where then you could do it. Like, just got to start.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, not only do you have to start, okay, perfect example. I think you're a lot like me. I'm a doer. And so I saw a situation. I want a podcast. I want to grow my coaching business. Yes. Okay, great. So we did that. And down here in Texas, what we call that is called, at first, it's just kind of like pissing in the wind. Like you don't really know what you're doing, throwing chicken feed out. You don't, not even where the chickens are. Yeah. The last month, rebuilding a website, creating the landing page, targeting audiences, these kind of things. Now, I hate those conversations, but it's needed, right? And so it's funny because you go do and then create business and then have the problem that you need to go search where they're coming from, right? But what's interesting, my love-hate relationship with marketing guys is very palpable. But here's the reason why.
Yeah.
because they put me up against the wall and they make me actually answer questions in my business that are needed that I don't think enough people are asking the questions.
Yes, dude. Oh my God. Quick story about that. I had an agent from Florida set up an actual meeting with me. He was supposed to show up on Monday. No call, no show. Sent him an email. Hey, let's reschedule. Next day, follow back up with them. You know what he says to me? How much are your programs? You know what I said to him? I filmed a loom.com video of myself saying, you're probably not going to be a good fit for our services, but I'm going to give you a rundown and give you the prices at the end because I need to add value first, because it's not about pricing. And so many people get stuck on price instead of understanding the value. And that's what our jobs are at Liftoff. Like, hey, let me ask you the hard fucking questions so we can drive to ensure your success. And if you don't believe in what we have to say, then go check out the next company who's going to be glad to take your money and give you a bunch of bullshit, because agents throw things at the wall to see what sticks. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. At Liftoff, it sticks.
No, it's 100%. I interviewed that girl. She did 22 million last year.
Wow.
And long story short, like, she's a mom and she has like only 2 people on her team. Like, she's a killer. But they were talking about, my buddy manages 250 agents in Northeast Texas.
Okay.
And she's part of his team and so on and so on. And they were talking about a girl who was new to real estate, who in a year and a half was on her 3rd team already. And you know what she said to them? Why are you joining the new team? Well, because they give you easy leads. And him and her were like, you don't even know you don't have any idea what you're doing here. Like, nothing. Like, and what cracks me up, right, is all the top agents, guys that I are friends of mine, guys that I watch and everything. Yes, they have a website. Yes, they do social media. But 9 times out of 10, I would say that 80% of their business comes from referrals.
Yes.
Right? And so that should be the business that you're seeking, because that sets you up for business for the rest of your life. Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
So as an agent and somebody that's newer, you run a company for agents. What are the steps necessary to get to that where referral is your business?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and I'll get into that here really quick. But I want to give a quick story, because we have Jordan Mott, Silicon Valley. He is crushing it. He was on Real Estate vs. Tech in the business for 6.5 years. He literally just was on the podcast. I said, Jordan, check it out. I think you can get a website now. I think you've done a good job with referrals. He used LinkedIn to be able to reach out to individuals and alumni that was at his college. He built up his referral base. He built up his business. I think he did like 70 or 80 transactions in 2020, pandemic and all. The guy's crushing it. And so he goes and basically is like doing some fact finding with us. We go and look at his analytics. He's getting like 2,000 people hitting his website a day, and he has a basic Intero website. We said, dude, check it out,
and he doesn't even have a way. He doesn't even have a way to keep their data, right?
No, he's not planting Facebook pixels into their smartphone or laptop to do retargeting. He's not running online ads. He's not doing anything to be able to check the data every single day to be like, hey, what pages are they going to? Why are they going to that pages? What happens? So the biggest thing is that, yeah, you can work off referrals, which is fantastic, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you have, say, for instance, a way to be able to differentiate yourself, to look amazing online, and to be able to build credibility, the first thing that anyone's going to do is go on Google and look you up. Who the hell is Austin Linney? They're going to look you up and they're going to see what they can find. And when they go online, are they going to find something that's going to make sense and something that's going to really be able to make someone feel the confidence, because people buy from people they know, like, and trust, because of video testimonials, because of their own videos, or because of their website showcasing the way an agent's going to market your home. So that's where it's just like the referral business is fantastic, but you want to think about the net. How wide is that net? Yeah. And not only how wide is that net, what are you doing to maximize every single opportunity? Because when you're sleeping at night, you want to be able to see that, oh my God, my website, my ads, I can wake up in the morning and check analytics. I can see if any new leads came in. I have control over the leads because it's on my social platform, or they're in my actual, say, social network, or in my sphere of influence. It's not just, oh, let me fucking pay Zillow like everyone's doing. And then basically when Zillow dries up or they change their model like they're doing now, then what, right? Like,
well, I'll give you a perfect example. A good buddy of mine who's been in marketing 30 years, Dr. Pepper, Chick-fil-A. I remember the conversation like it was yesterday in Big Bear. I felt like I was sweating talking about my coaching business, but he said something to me that changed my life. Recovering alcoholic, I've lost 70 pounds, all those things. But yeah, whatever. But what I'm saying is what's awesome is people that don't know me or follow me on Instagram don't know that shit. Yeah. And so my question to you is, in a 5-second or 5-minute look, if they can't follow me along for 2-3 years, what are they going to think of me when they see this? And so that was like an aha moment. Like when you step outside of your sphere of influence, what does your package look like? Because they need to know in 5 minutes.
Yes. Exactly. And if you think about it, people on social media, 3 seconds, 3 seconds, 3 seconds. So what are you posting that's going to grab someone's attention that makes, they say straight up, they say, no one's going to feel what no one's going to remember what you did, but they will remember the way you made them feel. So when you come with that passion, you come with that fire, it makes a huge difference. And if someone gives a shit, then you can have a page on your website that says about me. And then you could show that journey, show that process, show those postings, show the videos, have the testimonials, and you can have a one-page that showcases all that for someone to see that and be like, wow. Because people, dude, their extensions fans are ridiculous. They don't have time. Everyone's so busy with so much going on and they're so sidetracked with all this technology these days that they don't give that time of day. But to have that page or have that resource is fantastic. Or when you do blow up and you do go viral and you do freaking like turn into a household name, can they tune in to your old posts, or can they tune in to your old YouTube videos or your old anything that you've had for years and years and years and be like, oh my God, look where Austin Linney came from. Wow. Look at him before. He was talking about this, that, and the other thing. I mean, he looks amazing and he's not drinking anymore and he's lost all this weight and he's doing freaking the Get Hard challenge. And if you can also go back, that's a cool thing about social media. It's a timeline. You can go back and look at that timeline if you really care.
And ultimately, the question that you have to ask yourself, and that's what we're doing right now currently, is when they go back, because my buddy says it perfectly. The guy that's building my website, he's a podcast binger. So like when he finds out about, like, he's going to listen. Like, how can I listen to all of them? Yeah. But here's what I didn't have. I didn't have my courses. I didn't have who I was. I didn't have my website attached to my YouTube. And so what we've been doing the last month is making sure that every back channel, everything has an avenue for me to either get an email or there to tell more about me. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'll be 100% transparent. There's 2 things that have happened in the last month that were like the hardest thing in my life, but it changed my life. One was, for the first time in 8 months, I stepped on a scale because my mindset was finally ready to understand that my weight didn't determine who I was. The second thing is I on accident looked at my podcast numbers. And my mentor was like, basically, it was like, get your shit together, figure it out. Like, you can do this. Like, it's not important. Cause like, are you getting leads? Are you meeting people from your podcast? Yes. And so the great news is the podcast is doing this.
Yes.
And that's all that matters. But here's what it gave me: clarity. And I fixed 2 links in there I didn't know weren't linked to another thing that nobody had checked. Second thing is, I found out that I have people listening in Spain and Russia and South America. And that's when I was like, okay, this is getting interesting, right? Yeah. And so you can do, but you also need to track metrics. And so what I'm realizing this whole year for me is metrics. Like how do you know? You don't know if you're getting better or what you're doing, or like, hey, I'm going to stop putting time there. Like, we found out where the podcast was being listened to. Okay, great. We can double down on those 3 scenarios. And if they hear them on that other platform, that's great. But I think my issue, to round this into your wheelhouse, is that I think this is about to get angry for a bunch of agents, but I don't give a shit. All right. I think that ultimately, yes, are there amazing agents out there that crush, but also the market kind of dictates who you are as an agent: buy, sell, supply, and demand. Yes. There's a lot of agents that, in my opinion, are doing it a quarter of the way, meaning like they're at like 7 million, but with the right branding, with the right collection of data and the right focus, I think they could take the 7 to 12. But here's the kicker: they could take the 7 to 12 and still feel like it's 7. Yeah. That's the rub. And that's what she said yesterday. I did 10 million, but I felt like it was 40 million and it killed me. Well, I did, with the right people and the right mentors and the right team in place, I did 22 million and it felt like it was 8 million.
Wow.
And so that was like the aha moment for me.
Yeah. Know your numbers and look at those performance key indicators, those KPIs and those standard operating procedures. So you know what's up. Like say, for instance, I'll give you a success story for our listeners out there. Just shy of 60 people have been on the podcast, right? Out of that, we've actually earned 6 new clients from the podcast. This is not from being monetized, nothing. I did not start the podcast for a sales funnel. I started it to give back. And the overall goal is when that gets monetized, we're giving away 15% of the proceeds to nonprofits that are affiliated in the real estate space. That's the goal. I'm not doing this because of anything self-righteous. I've made over $16,000 because of the podcast in a year and a couple months, not to mention from that $16,000 in reoccurring revenue, I would say we're probably up to about $25,000 to $3,000 in reoccurring revenue on a monthly basis for Liftoff Agent just because of the podcast. And now they could take that episode, put it on their website. They can actually be able to share and give people light about why they get started. How did they get started? What tools are they using? They can inspire people to work with them or inspire people to use them. And on top of that, they get to basically save that moment in time. And then we get to be able to serve them and support them on the Liftoff Agents platform. And I'm just going through these numbers right now because you just inspired me to be like, let me actually do some quick math and put the perspective out there for the listener.
I got something that'll blow your head out of your body. So one of my coaching clients is in the health insurance business, and they're building something that's never been done before. I mean, it is like earth-shattering, life-changing. Doesn't matter. The packages that they're working on is 600 to 12,000, 650 families, right? These packages are massive packages. He said something to me. We worked through. Well, I came up with this scenario. With the money that he's making. Okay, so first of all, he's overweight. He knows that. He wants to, he's trying to get better. And so he's been working on himself. He's let down a bunch of weight. He's healthy. The house is clean, all these things, right? And he's using the money from his businesses to give back and feed families and help inner city, whatever. And so here's the rub. By him getting the coach, by him taking himself seriously and putting down his own bullshit, him taking himself seriously, that's it, controlling what he can control, he's affected millions of lives.
Wow. That's amazing. That's awesome.
I mean, like, when I said that out loud, we act like taking care of ourselves is just for ourselves. And yes, it might be, but the ripple effects of impact. Like my question to you is, think of it. I'll do it in your scenario. Think of it this way. You have a client that you help, and she becomes a great agent, and her website is out there. Somebody that's 18 years old that grew up with no mother, no father, has been a worker her whole life, sees that, gets inspired. Then that person becomes the next Mark Zuckerberg and is a high agent. And the work that you did affected millions of lives because you helped that one agent. And so that's what I'm saying is we don't understand that you control what you can control, show up every day with the optimism and the mindset that there's amazing things happening, and just go through the day and just be yourself. That's my rub,
I love that. I absolutely love that. I have to drop the next book of the week. I actually just started it today. If anyone wants to read this book, it's a short read. It's like 2 hours long, 2.5 hours. Napoleon Hill and Michael J. Ritt Jr. Napoleon Hill, Key to Positive Thinking. And the keys to positive thinking is just so amazing. And you know what the thing that was just an aha moment for me? Just smile. Just tell yourself, I'm amazing. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I love my friends. I love my family. I love what I do. And it changes your whole physiology. Just tell yourself that. Just give yourself. I mean, if you just after watching this, get up and jump up and down and scream on top of your lungs and say, I'm amazing. Yeah. You're going to feel amazing. It's so crazy to think like that. But when you get that momentum and then you share that positive energy with other people, and then your inner circle turns into the same type of cadence, like everyone's positive, everyone's happy, everyone's loving life, then it's inevitable. You're going to be freaking
and then so Ed Milet calls it raising the room or raising the temperature in the room. So like setting a thermostat is my standards are, this is how we operate. And so yesterday, don't need the details, but somebody called me and was like, hey, can you sell this $1.8 million piece of property for me? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll make 2 phone calls. We'll be good. And so we haven't done that yet, but I'll make it happen. But what I'm saying is I thought to myself, like, wow, we've come a long way. Because I was like, I would think to myself, and so, to round this conversation into form to provide the most value for everybody, tons of new agents out there, tons of people have no idea what to do when they get started. I mean, none. You have a Keller Williams, you have everything. They tell you need this coach, you need this thing. If you had to break it down in the scenario for you, what do they need to be focused on? 1, 2, or 3 things right out the gate. Like, should they jump in, like, and work with somebody like you, or are y'all working with maybe a more seasoned agent?
Yeah, I would say first thing to think about like the area you want to serve. Who is the number one agent in the area or the market you want to serve, and see what they're doing and do it better. So that way you can basically be that much better than whoever it is in your market that you feel like is like the top dog or the person that you want to look up to. And think about this. How many agents actually have a marketing degree or a business degree? So if you put together an actual business plan and give yourself goals and aspirations of where you want to go, and you think about your marketing plan and specifically who is your ideal buyer, who's your ideal seller, and what is that area that you want to serve. And you literally after this call can just ask Alexa, ask Google, who's the number one agent in Austin, Texas. If you're in Austin, Texas, it'll pop up. Okay, great. Look at their social media, look at their transaction volume, look at everything that they're doing and be like, you know what? Like this is missing, this is missing, this is missing, and I could do these things better, and then have the aspirations to get where you want to go. Pick up that book, Positive Mental Attitude, PMA. It's huge. And then from there, like start from the basics. Obviously talk to your sphere of influence and your friends and your family and get some deals under your belt before you go and pay any company, because as much as I would love to earn anyone's business that's listening, it's not going to do myself or anyone listening's benefit if you don't start from the basic to understand where you're going, why you're going there. Talk to your friends, talk to your family, get a little bit of a budget so you have a nest egg, and then put away 5 or 10%. So then you can potentially hire a company that can then help you with your foundation to take you to the next level and give you the resources and the support you need.
Love that. And so I know that it's very important to you because I follow your Instagram stories. You're kind of on this health optimization journey.
Yes.
And what sparked that whole thing? I mean, I see you drinking the salt water with the cayenne. I see you jumping in the cold water. I see you with your jug of water. Like, what started that whole trend?
To be honest with you, I feel, and I'm getting goosebumps right now, that I'm here for a higher purpose. And I feel that Liftoff Agent's only the foundation to this higher purpose. And if I'm really going to lead by example, I'm not smoking weed doing that. I'm not drinking alcohol doing that. I'm not putting any processed foods or any candy or anything junkful that's going to cloud my mental, physical, and spiritual reality. So they say that if you want to feel alive, eat things that are alive. So I literally eat 3,300 calories a day. I do 180 grams of protein a day. I do a 45-minute workout in the morning, compiled with another 45-minute run. I drink 1 to 2 of these a day, and I eat 7 times a day. And I do the cold water and the hot water plunge and the whole 9 because I want to optimize my body and be as clear as I possibly can to lead by example. So when someone says, why the hell do I want to follow this NLK3 or Norman Loyd Kinsey III guy, or who is this guy or whatever else, and you try to find my faults, guess what? There are none, because I'm very transparent and I have no reason to hide anything and say, hey, I smoked weed. Yeah, I just stopped smoking weed about a month ago. I used to drink alcohol, not all the time, but here and there. And guess what? Like, I've been subject to doing a lot of drugs and trying different things. And I feel like that only builds my character, because I could say that I've been there and done it. So when my daughter, or if I have additional children, like a son coming, who knows, I could be like, this is where it's at. This is what's come up for me. You make your own decision, but this is how I've lived my life, or how I've overcome what I've overcome. And if it means anything, great, take it. If it doesn't, whatever else, it's totally fine. So I want to do that because I don't have a coach. I don't have a mentor. No one in the back of my mind telling me that I need to do anything, but I want to set that industry standard for the real estate space. build that foundation, get to the next level, and lead by example in every single aspect of my life, because that's my legacy. Because if I don't make it tomorrow, every single thing that I did was to help someone, to support someone, or do something for someone else so they can be a better person. Period.
No, I love that. And everybody, we went on a hike Saturday, and they asked me, they're like, how the hell do you get up every morning? And how the hell do you do this every day? And I said, I kind of did it to myself. My coaching clients know that their coach is getting it. And so I almost have like this massive net of accountability. I don't have a choice. Now, granted, I love it for myself, but what I think that enough people don't do, and this is very important, and I've shared this with tons of people, you have to chase two things: momentum and feeling. And when you start feeling better and you start feeling better about yourself, you want more of that. So why the fuck would I do something to counterintuitive the momentum that I'm creating? One of the things I was talking to my coaching clients with, how hard is it to move the Titanic? Like, how hard is it to turn the Titanic? But once the Titanic gets moving, that SOB is quick as shit.
Yes.
And so you as a human, once you get rolling, that's why I keep doing 75 hard. Once you keep rolling, why would I ever want to stop that momentum? Because it's so much easier to do things when you're headed in the forward direction. Yeah.
And think about everything. Think about alcohol, think about weed, think about fast food, think about all those things. They slow you down. They mentally slow you down. They physically slow you down. If you're eating fruits and vegetables and complex carbohydrates, and you're running and you're doing the cold water and the hot water plunge, it only further excels that momentum so you can have more success instead of going the opposite direction. So I was talking to my wife on the run this morning. I said, man, when you eat fast food or eat a cookie or whatever it is, it hits those pleasure centers, and it gives you instant gratification, which is false promises for the long-term gain. And then guess what? You just keep on eating that cookie, and you're like, what the hell just happened? I'm literally 4 weeks into this and I don't look too much different. And I'm literally eating the most bland of bland basic foods, where my wife's like, if you're going to go ahead and go this hard, like she's telling me last night, I miss having dinner with you because I'm freaking taking an hour and 15 minutes to eat over 1,100 calorie meal. And it's for what? I don't see any difference. It's for the long-term gain. And right now I feel amazing. And I know it's gonna show and shine bright at the end of it all. And then I'm gonna learn something about myself, be at a different baseline. So then when I do eat that cookie, I am so grateful. And I'm only gonna have one or a half of one instead of needing to have 5 or 6 and going into that opposite direction and just wanting to sit on the couch and do this all day, or just be freaking lazy and just like, oh, whatever.
I love that. And how do people find out more about you and the company?
So liftoffagent.com is going to be the website. So www.liftoffagent.com. It's right behind me. Real estate versus technology. You can look that up on YouTube. It's behind me. And then just NLK3. So it's just all caps, NLKIII. You can look me up on Google. I'm very transparent, and there's nothing.
Yeah, he does. He likes to do a lot of videos in his hot tub with the shirt off, guys.
Hot tub confession. Hot tub confession.
Oh, that's its own podcast.
It could be.
Look, here's the deal. I promise you, I swear to God, November 4th, March 4th, I will have hot tub confessional in your hot tub with you, because I'll be in town all week. So
I love that. Hey,
we'll do a special segment. Yeah.
You're welcome. Dude, it's all good. We'll get some mics on the side. We'll bring them in. Camera in the center. We're freaking good to go, dude.
I love it. Guys, if you like this episode, make sure you send it out to your friends. We appreciate you.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.